This morning I am parked up near Liverpool. I picked up the trailer that I'm delivering last night. Today I have a load of Malone's farm machinery on and my first drop is near Preston. I'm just going to pop out, do my daily checks and then I can go. I checked the truck and the trailer for any defects. This trailer has quite a lot of small pieces on it and therefore there are a lot of things to make sure are strapped down nice and tight. Everything's looking good and I'm happy that it's safe and secure. I'm just filling out my daily checks app, which will be sent back to my boss. Done. So the place I'm going to is just below Preston, kind of between Preston and Blackburn. I'm going to make my way over there and Simon from Malone's is going to actually meet me there. I make my way out of the parking place and out onto the main road. The best way to go is up through Liverpool itself, which will mean heading through the Kingsway Tunnel. The tunnel has a toll on it and for HGVs it's £8.40, but if you sign up to the T-Flow it is slightly cheaper. The Kingsway Tunnel goes right underneath the River Mersey and is a total of 1.5 miles long. I need to be at the farm dealership for 8 o'clock and this journey should take me around an hour in really good traffic. But because I know that Liverpool can get very busy, I gave myself a fair bit of extra time to get through. Today, however, I didn't need it and before long I'm heading out of Liverpool on the M58. And when I get to the end of the M58, I take the M6 heading north. Because I anticipated that there would be heavy traffic through Liverpool and there wasn't, I am running very early. So I pull in to Charnock Richard Services for a coffee. I was away this weekend, so I don't actually have any food on me. I'm just going to have to get things as I go this week. Just going to pop into the services and get some breakfast. I quickly pop into Starbucks and then I head back to the truck. I've got myself a coffee and some fruit toast, so that should keep me going for a while. I am a little bit early for their opening time. I'm just going to wait here for a little while. I'll leave to get there on time for when they actually open the gates. So I'm not really sure if I can park on the road outside or if there's any space to park on the road outside. Hopefully by the time I get there, the gates will be open, or they will be opening them. I leave the services when my predicted arrival time reaches 8 o'clock. I head back out onto the M6 heading northbound and I leave at junction 29 for the M65. I stay on the M65 for a couple of junctions before coming off and following a couple of A and B roads towards the farm dealership. The last bit of my journey takes me through a 7.5 tonne weight limit, which I am allowed to use because I have access rights. It does get a little bit narrow and windy in places, but it's not too bad. As I pull up to the dealership, the chap is just opening the gates, so I've turned up at just the right time. I'm also quite glad that I hung back to turn up dead on time, as there's definitely no place to park an Arctic out on the road. The chap also needs to jump in the tractor and move it out of the way so that I can swing into the yard. I'm off the road now. I'm not really sure where I need to go from here. Might need to speak to somebody. Parked up, I'm not really sure if I can actually do anything until Simon is here and he lets me know what he needs to take off and what there is to take off here to maybe even leave here so he can pick it up later. I gave Simon a quick ring and he was only 10 minutes away. When he turned up, we checked all of the paperwork and we worked out which bits Simon was taking, which bits were being delivered here, and which bits I needed to take on to my next 2 deliveries. Once we work it all out, Simon gets his pickup and trailer into position, whilst I unstrap all the bits that need to be taken off. As I said earlier, there are quite a lot of little bits on this trailer, so there is a fair bit to unstrap here. Whilst I carry on unstrapping, Simon works with the lad on the handler to unload my trailer onto his trailer. Simon is taking some of the log splitters and post drivers onto 2 different farm dealerships. The tedder on the back is also being delivered here, and to get it off it will need to come down the ramps. So everything behind the tedder will have to come off, even if it's not for here, and then be put back on afterwards. There are also 2 pallets of parts on the trailer behind the tedder, which aren't for here but will need to be taken off and put back on later. So the forklift driver just sets them aside for now whilst we get everything else off. We make sure that Simon has all the right bits for his trailer first before sorting out the delivery for here to save any confusion. Each piece of machinery has a serial number which has already been assigned to the dealership it's being delivered to. Whilst they're getting the last post driver off, I get the ramp set up, ready to take the rake off.
I also strap the ramps down on both sides so that they don't move when the equipment is being taken off. The tractor backs up to the ramps, but the ramps are too far apart, as I made them wide enough for the rake, but the tractor is slightly narrower. I put the ramps in slightly so that the tractor can back up to the rake. The rake can be attached and then the tractor can pull it forwards. But before the rake can be pulled down the ramps need to be pulled back out again so that they are wide enough. The tractor driver pulls it down the ramp nice and steady, whilst myself and another chap watches him down. This was the only thing that we needed the ramps out for today, so once it's off, I can unstrap them and put them away. I'm not sure whether I will need them for my return load, and for my next delivery, the post drivers need to be laid down flat on my trailer, which won't leave any room on the trailer bed to put my ramps, so I decide to put them away underneath my trailer. It looks like it's going to be quite busy here this morning, and another truck comes in to pick up a tractor. He's going to pull it into the spare space here, and he's going to load the tractor that is waiting here for him. We then go about getting the post drivers back on, and the reason they are being laid down is because I can't have anything over cab height, as there is a low bridge on the way to my next delivery. Here a little while and my camera's run out of battery, but I've got everything that I need for the next 2 deliveries on the back and all strapped on. So I'm just going to get my paperwork signed and I can go. And there it is, all restrapped for my onward journey. Right, that's that done. All I need to do now is get out of here. The only way I'm going to do that is reverse back out of the gate. Luckily, this means reversing out on my good side, and the chap here also offered to watch me back. I take my time watching the back of the trailer and the front of the unit out onto the narrow lane that would take me back towards the main roads. Once I'm out, I give everybody a wave to say thank you, and I'm back off up the lane for my next delivery. My next drop is about 85 miles away and will take me around an hour and a half. I head back towards the M65 and take the westbound slip road towards the motorway. Once I get back to the M6, I head northbound. I stay on the M6 from junction 29 all the way up to junction 40, which means that I get to see lots of beautiful countryside on this stretch of the motorway. This has to be my favourite part of the M6, although it doesn't really have any competition from any other parts of the M6. Once I come off the motorway, I'm heading for a small industrial estate about 15 minutes away from the motorway. This will take me through winding countryside, a narrow bridge and a low bridge. It certainly has been a scenic drive up through here. As I pull into the industrial estate, I spot a very familiar company. There is an ABN feed mill right opposite where I'm tipping. I did a lot of work for ABN when I was on Waynes, but I've never actually been to this particular depot.
Where do I need to park? Here? Yeah.
I'm not able to get into the dealership with the truck, so I need to stay out in the industrial estate to be unloaded. It's a fairly quiet industrial estate, and there is a lot of room out here for unloading. Whilst the chap goes off to get the handler to unload, I make a start unstrapping everything that is coming off here. It's not long before he's back and we're taking the first piece off. Here I am unloading the log splitters and the post drivers. Them all unstrapped now. One has been taken away and I'm just waiting for the chap to get back with the others. There are 2 post drivers and 6 log splitters to be taken off here. There is also a small box of parts that needs to be taken off as well. It's absolutely freezing today. I don't know why it feels so cold, but it does. I'll be glad to get back in the cab, I think. The post drivers and log splitters are quite easy to take off. They just need a strap attached to the top and they can be lifted off easily. However, because they are small and you can fit more items on the trailer, they can be quite time consuming, especially when they need to be taken quite a long way with the handler. All in all, I'm here for just under an hour unloading these 8 items, which means on average it's around 5 to 6 minutes per item. I also have a pallet of parts for this dealership and it's on the other side of the trailer, so I pull over to the other side of the road so that it can be taken off. I get it all unstrapped just in time for when the chap comes back with a forklift. The forks need pushing in slightly, but this is quite an easy, light pallet to lift. I ask the chap to sign my paperwork and I leave him a copy. I can then restrap the remaining pallet on the trailer, and before I leave I will ring my next delivery.
Yeah.
Hiya, it's Gemma from Bradford Transport. I'm bringing up 2 Malone's machines for you.
Yeah.
I should be up about 3:30 if that's okay. Right,
Okay.
Thank you. Cheers, bye. Google Maps is saying that it will take me about an hour and a half. Because I know the roads up to where I'm delivering, I
I know that will take me probably around 2 hours. Oh, look at that view.
There are some absolutely stunning views up round here, right on the edge of the North Pennines. I need to head back the way I came towards the M6, which means going under a low bridge and through a narrow bridge. It is quite tight getting around the corner and onto the bridge in an Arctic, but it is doable. And as you can see, there's not a lot of room either side of the track as I come through the bridge. It takes me around 15 minutes to get back to the M6, and this time I'm heading south down to junction 36. And once again, as I come down through, I'm sport with the views of the Yorkshire Dales and the Lake District. Once I come off at junction 36, I follow the A590 all the way out to Greenodd. Then I follow the narrow, winding roads all the way up to the dealership on the edge of the Lake District. These are roads that you can't rush on, and you need to be looking ahead as lots of other lorries use these roads. As I get closer to the dealership, the roads get narrower again, and there are a few tight turns on the way. The dealership itself is on a farm, and I need to be careful heading into the farm as there is a big drop on the right hand side of me, and I don't want to cut in too tight and lose my trailer wheels.
It looks a bit busy in here today. There's a lot of stuff in here. I need to turn up there really and reverse back round, but I'm gonna go and find someone. Someone is coming round to unload me.
Whilst they get the handler ready to unload me and move a few things around, I get on with unstrapping the load. Everything that is left on the trailer is coming off here, and they are having 2 mowers which are at the top of the step frame, and also a box of parts. The mowers are sat on long pallets across the trailer, so they need long forks on the handler to be able to take them off. A lot of the Malone's machinery comes in kit form and is built up when it arrives at the dealership. This is to save space on the trailer and also keep costs down. Whilst I'm waiting for the box of parts to be taken off, I get the paperwork signed and I make sure everything's packed away nice and secure, ready for my onward journey. At the moment, I don't know where I'm going for my next collection, or even what I am going to collect, so I give Chris the heads up that I'm finished, and he lets me know which direction I'm going to need to head in. But first, I need to turn around in the yard here. They've moved a few things around in the yard here so that I can turn up to my left-hand side, and then I can reverse back round on my good side to be able to get out. There are quite a lot of obstacles in this yard, so I must be aware of the front of my truck just as much as the back. With an empty step frame, it's a lot easier to see where I'm going when I'm reversing than it is with a curtain sider. The chap that's watching me back gives me the thumbs up that I'm clear, and I steadily make my way out past the van and the edge of the house, back onto the lane and back the way I came, as there is only one way in and out of this farm in a HGV. I now know that I need to head towards Preston, so I follow the narrow, winding roads all the way back down to Greenodd, taking in the beautiful scenery as the sun starts to set. This is one of the reasons why I've always enjoyed the agricultural side of trucking. I'd much rather be out in beautiful places like these than in towns and cities. I follow the A590 all the way back to the M6, and I head southbound towards Preston. After speaking to Chris, I now know that I will be picking up some cars on my next load. Unfortunately, I won't be able to pick up the first car this evening, so I pop into the services for a shower. And I also need to work out where in Preston I'm picking up the car. Up at the last delivery, I didn't have very good signal, but I should have better signal here, so I should be able to plan my route a bit better.
I'm picking up a car tomorrow, and apparently I need to pick it up from a pub car park. It seems a bit strange, so I'm just going to ring the pub and make sure that I can actually park in there overnight like they've told me. Hiya, this is a bit of a strange question. I'm picking up a car round the corner from you, and they've told me to go and park in your pub car park. But I just wanted to ring and check that that is what they normally do, rather than just turning up and parking in the car park. Oh, you don't mind? Oh, perfect. All right, thank you. It just seemed a bit strange. All right, thank you. It doesn't seem like there's a shower in here, so I'm going to have to go and ask somebody. They do have one. I've got the key, and it's actually quite big in here. It's a bit weird getting in here, but I'm in and I can have a shower, so ideal. Back from my shower and on to the pub.
I didn't notice this on the day when I filmed, but as I back round the corner, it looks like someone has put a lorry there just for me. It took me around an hour to get down to the services, and it will take a further 45 minutes to get down to the pub. The The journey from the dealership down to the pub is around 75 miles. As I get close to the pub, I can see that the entrance to the pub is not very wide, so I take my time and swing in carefully. As I pull in, there is a chap here that has just unloaded a car, and it's making me feel a bit more confident that I might be in the right place. Once he's put his ramps away, I pull forwards and tuck myself in to the side of the car park, as I don't want to be in any of their customers' way.
Might just go in, speak to this chap, because he might know something about what's going on tomorrow. I'll have a chat with him, I think. Well, I am in the right place, thank goodness. It's 6:30 now, and because I haven't got any dinner with me, I am actually going to go and have a proper meal. I was going to say hopefully they've got some tables, but it's quite a big place and the car park's not that full.
I am starting to feel quite hungry now after today, and I'm looking forward to some food. I decide to go for a classic scampi and chips, and then I head back to the truck parked strategically under the lights.
So that pub is a chain pub, so you kind of know what you're getting. But for £12.39 for a meal and a drink, you can't really go wrong. You'd certainly be paying that or more in the services for a meal. I'm all settled down in bed now. I've had quite a nice day. It hasn't been too bad, so I should get a good night's sleep. Thanks for watching.
Don't forget you can get my merch at f28print.com.